question, email radio@experiencepros.com or message us on the Experience Pros Facebook page, and we'll interact with you live on the show.
Hey, welcome back to the Experience Pros Radio Show. Thank you for tuning in to the home of positive business talk.
Our next guest is Chris Natzke, a 7th degree black belt and former United States national taekwondo champion. In his book, Mind of a Champion, his principles as a martial arts instructor, keynote speaker, life leadership coach, and also he's author of the book Black Belt Leadership. He's impacted the lives of thousands across the country with his message of hope, inspiration, and personal empowerment. If you want to learn more about Chris and his keynote speaking and also his life leadership coaching programs, you can contact him at chrisnatzke.com, Natzke.com. Chris Natzke, welcome to Experience Pros.
Thanks, guys. Great to be here.
Hey, Chris, good to have you on the program. Let's begin with this. You talk about a higher martial art or higher self-defense. What does that mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things, Eric, that I've been able to do throughout the years is develop a program that we call Higher Self-Defense that deals with not only just practical self-defense skills, but actually deals with how to deal with the adrenal response that one gets when they're being attacked. 80% of women are attacked by men that they know, and 80% of those people, when they are assaulted, it starts with verbal intimidation before it ever gets physical.
Okay. Now, I know you are actually out to help empower people and create this higher self-defense. And so it's not just, I'm thinking, physical martial arts. If you're talking about, these verbal attacks, is this more mindset? Are you going to give me some words like to spout back at somebody when they attack me verbally?
Great question, Angel. I mean, what we actually do, what makes the training unique is we make it scenario-based. So after giving people some real practical skills in terms of how to use their voice as power, how to access it, we actually do live role plays. So what they do is they get the experience of the adrenal response, and then being able to, rather than go to fight or flight, most people go to freeze. And what we're able to do by when we access our voice, it not only impacts us from a self-defense standpoint, but positively impacts every aspect of our life.
Okay, because I was thinking, like you were going to give me some, I don't know.
Hey, buckaroo.
Right? I don't know. I always think of something bright to say or brilliant to say after I leave the room.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
Well, one of the things that we do is, most confrontations will start with just basic conversation. And what we do is we teach our students to be aware of the things that trigger them, and then the power of asking questions, because when you ask a question, you basically are in control of a conversation. And then when things get a little bit racy, being able to use your voice to overpower someone that's coming at you verbally.
And I know in the light of the Me Too movement, of watching how many people have been impacted with sexual harassment, sexual discrimination, and even sexual assault, I think it's an alarming, when you see it all show up in once on social media, even though this happens probably every day, all the day for so many people, having this skill set to feel like if I'm ever put in this situation or cornered or backed up, that I would at least have a response.
Right.
Because I think so often there's a different level of response that has to come long before I have to actually kind of fight somebody off. Does that make sense, Chris?
It sure does. And in fact, one of the things we tell our students is so much of how assailants will profile has nothing to do with someone's physical stature or their dress or long hair, but it has to do with the energetic that they're putting out. In fact, our association went to federal prisons and said, they showed them videotapes of women, and they said, who would you go to attack? And with a 95% accuracy rate, they picked the exact same women, and it was because of the way that they were presenting themselves energetically. It had nothing to do with what they were wearing or their physical appearance.
All right, so let's follow up on that question for just a minute so that we can give our listeners something of value right here and now today. How are they presenting themselves, and what should they begin to not do?
Great question, Eric. So the first thing we do is we encourage people to make eye contact. I think man on men, when we see a man come, we kind of create that with ourselves, right? You kind of look someone in the eye, and then you kind of, size them up, et cetera. I think women in our culture don't do that. They're taught to basically not make eye contact. And then with that also comes physically, the shoulders are in and the short steps. And so what we do is we encourage them to make eye contact, stand in a very powerful type of posture. And when you make contact with someone, that eye contact, we say do it in such a way that you could identify them in a lineup. So it's not a huge stare, but it's looking at them, be able to identify, and what that does is it creates that energetic separation.
And Chris, when you see that person doing that, does that in fact diminish the likelihood subconsciously in the potential attacker's mind of this is a good one to attack?
Absolutely. In fact, what people will do, and we went, as I said, went to federal prisons, and what they said is they actually have a profile for who they're looking for. And if they approached a woman and they deviated from that profile, meaning that they showed up confidently where they thought that they would probably put up a fight, they would abort the mission rather than try to change their strategy. So in essence, they didn't want to fight. They wanted a victim. And when they found out they couldn't get a victim, they'd move on.
Interesting. We're talking with Chris Natzke, a 7th degree black belt, former United States national taekwondo champion. He has lots of coaching programs, life leadership coaching programs, as well as personal speaking. You can find him online at chrisnatzke.com. And I know that in the month of November and December, you've got a whole series of protection seminars. What's the best way for our audience to connect with you, Chris?
They can certainly reach me through my website, chrisnatzke.com. They can also reach us on higherselfdefense.com. That's HIGHER selfdefense.com, where we'll have a list of our various classes. And we have classes that deal with adults and teens that also serve kids, basically ages 6 to 12. And we deal with bully proofing and stranger abduction, as well as advanced versions of classes for people who have graduated from our courses.
So today, Chris, if somebody is feeling like maybe in the office place or the workplace that they need to make a difference in their workplace situation, what's a piece of advice you would give to them?
Well, the one thing I would say is that understand that you have a right to be assertive. I think that what we do sometimes is we revert to either two ways of being, either being very aggressive or being passive, because we think it's going to insult someone, it's going to make them feel bad. And I just want everyone to know that they have the right to defend themselves. And quite honestly, when people find that inside themselves, what we start seeing is things that were happening in the office place start to not happen because of that energy that they're putting forward. But it first starts with saying, I'm worth it. I'm worthy enough to protect myself, and set that powerful boundary.
That is fantastic. Good stuff. chrisnatzke.com. That's Chris Natzke, NATZKE.com. Go check it out. Sign up for one of his seminars and achieve higher self-defense for yourself. Chris, thanks for joining us, man. We're grateful.
Absolutely, guys. It's been my pleasure.
All right. And there you have it, folks. More positive business talk yet is ahead, but don't go anywhere while we take a quick commercial break. Do business with the people who do business with the pros. We appreciate you doing that. That's how we get to stay on the air. And if you're in the archives for this program and all our broadcasts, can be found at experiencepros.com/radio. Just click the archives button. We'll be back right after this.
America's home for positive business talk. You're listening to the Experience Pros radio show. Contact